I'm obviously Dan, the vocalist.
I'm Jay, the bassist.
I'm also Dan, but I've been going by Shawsy because there's multiple Dans, and I'm one of the new guitarists.
Yes, I'm Robert. I'm the drummer of the band.
And he's German.
Aha.
In German.
I know one word in German.
He's been in the band for what, 3 years? 5 years? Fucking hell. Yeah, he's been in the band for 5 years.
Yep.
So,
I couldn't find anything better, so as soon as something else comes up, I'm going.
Good call.
And I'm Dan, but like Shawsy said, I go by Dean because there are 3 Dans in the band. So just to keep it easy.
Sounds good. And collectively, you
I'm one of the new guitarists. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Oh, what was you saying? Collectively, you guys are Trinatyde.
We are.
That's it.
It is. Well, it's a very, very good day for the Brisbane music scene because, well, basically, Trinatyde suddenly disappeared from the scene about 3 years ago, but word on the street now is that there's movement in the camp again. So tell us more.
You're the leader, man. You're the leader here, eh?
oh, yeah, we're going to be writing some new songs, obviously, but we're trying to do the back catalogue at the moment. The reason why we sort of went on hiatus was obviously COVID as well, and Rob had a baby back then as well.
It's pretty much like we had lots of gigs booked. I think like 3 or 5 or something for 2020, and then early on, of course, COVID kicked in, and then we canceled all the gigs. And by the late 2020, my wife gave birth to a beautiful daughter. So from then on, there was no time anyway. So I thought at least we could like the early 20 kicking in with some gigs, but unfortunately because of COVID, nothing happened. Everything was cancelled. And then I was just like dead, nothing else, and then everything slowed down a little bit. And Dan actually joined another band, so he was good.
Yeah.
Our other guitarist, he wasn't keen to play anymore, so he just like sold his gear and his guitar. So that was actually it for a while.
Was it always planned to just be a hiatus, or was there ever any risk that the band might not get back together?
There was a risk, yeah. I didn't think we were going to get back together.
But we never split up officially.
No.
It was only like, okay, we paused for a while. And then jam became a duty, and it wasn't really like a passion anymore. It was just like, okay, we're going to jam every week, working on our songs. But we weren't really there with our head, And so I think actually 2 years of a break was actually quite good.
Yeah.
And eventually last year, I spoke to Dan, eventually made some jokes. Let's go back together, and we contact Maddie, our old guitarist. He didn't want to, and writing back and forth. And then eventually, okay, let's do it, let's look for some new people, some new talented guys who bring new spirit on board, a new style, and just like look for it, Originally, we just wanted to look for one guitarist. Actually, it was just a coincidence that it turned out the 2.
Yeah,
beautiful ladies.
We got.
They actually said, "Let's get Dan," and then people got confused. And I think.
Well,
Call him up.
Introduce us to the new members and tell us what they bring to the band.
Yep, and where they've come from. Obviously, where they've come from as well.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Being a metal band, all of our members come from hell.
So I had been playing in bands on and off for the last probably 15 years, but not as seriously probably this last 10. And I just had a couple of kids and was looking to get back into it and seeing the ad. I think Dan put up actually and responded. We went and tried out. So for me, it was more of trying to get back into, I guess, a scene as well and really play some shows. I think COVID too, how you had that bit of extra time, not just to sit and think. And I was writing a bit of music and went, let's just give it a go, and found these guys. And now we're here.
Yeah, similar story for me. I've been in a whole bunch of bands over the last 10, 15, 20 years. Mainly playing bass in sort of more rock punk sort of stuff. So this is actually probably the first real metal band I've played guitar in, which is pretty exciting for me. And I was doing a bit of traveling for work, but I've settled back in Brisbane and I got married. I'm the one without kids. Well, one of a couple without kids. But yeah, I'd settled down and you know, I'd just been working and you know, had the gear and I wasn't doing anything with it. And I saw an ad that sounded pretty good and I thought, yeah, this will be good. But what's important for me is gelling with the guys, and that was really quick, I think. So we all get along pretty well. We all come from, I think, a pretty different kind of metal background. I listen to a lot of the pretty technical, more European sort of stuff, but I think and I'm not necessarily thinking that's where Trinatyde should go, and I reckon there's a lot of nodding heads in the room, but you know, there's a groove metal aspect and a bit more of a modern metal aspect that I think I can add some of that old school vibe to. You know, I'm a bit of a, you know, I like my riff metal, and then Shawsy brings some pretty good textures and stuff like that. So I think there's some really good opportunity to be able to you know, meld that into something really new. And even when we're just busting out some new riffs in the room, you know, they're sounding pretty positive, I reckon.
So you guys that have been there for a while, like what do these new guys bring to the sound, do you reckon?
I think it's a bit more. It's a bit fresher, I guess, because these guys are not in the metal scene yet. A lot of people have been sort of trying to guess who they are, because they'll come to me and go, "Oh, you know, you've been in the scene for 30 years. You're going to get a guitarist that's out of another band and and roll with it." So there's a lot of people have been guessing. I think having fresh faces that are not currently in the scene now, it's going to be a fresh approach. A lot of people will be surprised, I guess. Yeah.
Cool.
So from a music point of view, is it when you're starting up again, is it easier to have two guitarists come in together, or would it be better just to have, you know, one fresh one and an existing one? Like, what's the dynamics like there?
I guess we got no control to test that against, but for me, it's good. I've actually never played in a band with the second guitarist. It's always just been, say, me and a bass player. I don't know if you've had the same experience, Dan, but for me, it's been really good because obviously I'm a bit more of a basic stock. I'm more like a bass player that plays guitar, I think, in some ways. Dan actually plays very well, so it's making me step up my game a bit. I've been learning to down pick. I've been practicing my down picking.
That's why you got rhythm and guitarist actually for the band.
Yeah,
it's really stable, keeping it together.
Yeah, so for me, it's been a good experience personally, but I couldn't say as a whole.
I prefer to completely new guitarists because with the old guitarists, we used to have a revolving door of the second guitar. So there was Richard for a little while and Dom for a little bit, and then Spencer, and you know, they just revolving door second guitar. So it was cool. It was a cool idea. It's been a cool experience. Sorry, that completely fresh guitarists, because we can just jam some of the old songs, but actually we can also throw them out and just come up with completely new stuff. It's actually exciting. Yeah.
Lots of the old stuff was written with two guitars, right? And then we were just like playing for 6 years with only one guitar. So even a different tuning. So we have like tuning is all everywhere now. We have like two different tunings with all these old songs now and new songs combined. Yeah. And so now we're gonna play around a little bit. We'll see what's going to happen. You know, it's just metal. It's nothing, you know, fancy. You know, we just need hard guitars and like good tunes, and then we're just gonna play it around and we'll see what's happened. But we definitely have a bigger, more options and varieties in the sound itself. You know, playing harder, playing more melodies on top, playing around. You know, not making it too simple and making it simple when it's necessary, and that's really nice actually. The only thing is the practice, right? The more people we have, the more likely someone is sick or has something else to do. It's really hard to catch up, you know. And
so don't join Slipknot.
You mentioned this a bit earlier, but is the focus now on relearning the older stuff and running with that, or doing some fresh stuff as well.
Limited selection of the older stuff, actually. We're not focused on doing the whole back catalogue. We're probably more interested in coming up with some new material.
Yeah,
I would say just a selection of old songs, and that's it.
yeah. Because there's songs that we don't want to play ever again, obviously. But we could, but we want to bleed the fresh blood into it, and they can have their spotlight, I guess. So that's why it's only going to be selected songs, selected old songs like Deathplunge. We're going to bring back. We didn't play that for 6 years.
Only one guitar.
Because we only had one guitar, so the Deathplunge was a 2-guitar song. And
Bones used to be a fan favorite.
Yeah, Bones was going back to 2010, so we're bringing that back because it's got 2 guitars in it. So yeah, there's a couple of songs that we've just put aside, but we want to bleed the fresh blood and see what they can come up with. You know?
Yeah, we're definitely in the middle of putting together new stuff. I think what's been good for the old school guys is Shawsy and I have come in and heard some of the older ones, and we like them, and you know they're just sick of playing them really, but we're like, oh, we can put a different slant on it, and maybe we can retain them, and because there's some cracker stuff, and you know I think that's why we're here. So, but yeah, we're full speed ahead with trying to put some new stuff together, and Shawsy and I will work on that stuff together and get some nice textures. And yeah, it's finding time. Time's difficult in this day and age, but we're definitely committed to getting it done.
Oh, it's good having those songs too, rather than just coming in and trying to make new stuff. To have something to learn a gel and learn together and learn how each other play. I think it's good to have that as a stepping stone.
Yeah, and I think playing the older songs now, because we haven't played them in so long, I think it's rejuvenated. Like it's exciting again, I guess, to play that song, like Bones and Deathplunge. It's a bit more exciting now because we haven't played them in 3 years, So, but there'll be a time where we'll just go, oh fuck it, we don't want to play that anymore. So, but yeah.
And speaking of the newer stuff, then guys, is it what older fans of the band would expect, or is it going to be something a bit fresh and different?
It'll be fresh, but they'll like it. They'll love it.
Elaborate.
Elaborate.
Huh?
Elaborate.
Look, Dan and Shawsy actually have a different style of playing to our old guitarist. So we'll come out. The sounds will be fresh. But I don't want to give away the surprises too much. But yeah, the songs that are coming together are going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, but still Trinatyde.
Tell me, fuck all it is.
It'll still be Trinatyde. It'll still be Trinatyde, but still fresh,
Cool. So how about what sort of lessons first time around as a band are you going to be taking into this second stage to sort of make sure that it does flow a bit better?
Well, we've given up all our drug habits.
Well, that's
yeah. Nobody has any pending court cases either. We're just a clean slate there.
What was the question?
What do you
Feel a few old boys to answer.
Basically, what are you doing different this time around?
I think it's a bit more laid back approach because we all got stuff going on in our personal lives. Before when we were 3 years ago, it was becoming a bit stale, practicing every week, the same old songs. Nothing was getting, nothing was fresh, that sort of thing. I think this time around, it's a bit more laid back approach, but still writing songs and probably not doing as many shows because obviously, we don't want to saturate one market, obviously. But it's more of a laid back approach, I think, because I'm in 3 bands now. So yeah, I'm a band whore. And yeah, like all the three bands are taking a laid back approach, if that makes any sense. Like we're not practicing every week, we're practicing maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe once a month. With Trinatyde at the moment, we're sort of practicing a bit more often because we're trying to get back up to where we were and with the new members and stuff. But yeah, I think personally this time around it's more of a laid back approach. That's how I see it. I don't know about the rest of the dudes, but yeah.
I think I could add that what we have on our side now than the 10, 15, 20-year-old older versions of us were is technology. We've got pretty good access to some tech to do pretty good demo recording, so we can focus more on creating good material, getting new material out, so we can keep maintain that, so we don't have to save up and on our 19-year-old salaries.
Especially you, mate.
That's it.
He's just buying everything he wants, no kids. He just like all the fancy stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, but you guys have a harder job with kids, all right? So you bring up the kids, and I'll keep buying the toys. So,
that sounds great.
Yeah, but so I totally agree with what Dan's saying. Laid back because we're not 18 anymore, but also putting more focus on the quality of the music. And not just going, hey, let's gig, because we all did that for years. So I think we're in a better position now. I think everyone in this industry is in a better position now with the technology at our disposal to really focus a bit more on the quality of the music and stuff like that. That's just my thoughts.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. What about, speaking of gigs, have you got anything laid out? Anything planned, or are you still just in the rehearsal stage?
Nothing laid out, but we've had multiple offers,
I'm sure.
and people have been asking me, but nothing set in stone yet. But there will be. It's just we're still rehearsing, so we want to come out. We want to come out with a bang and make sure that it's fucking tight as fuck before we go out there and do the live thing.
Oh, what about, where can people keep an eye on what you're doing then? Because I'm sure people are going to hear this and they'll be hanging to see you play live. So where can they keep up to date?
Yeah, just on the socials, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitters, mainly Instagram and Facebook, but that's where you just keep an eye out, and obviously on YouTube as well, because we've got a YouTube account. We might bring back the Trinatyde Hot Minute once we get going again, but yeah, like just on the socials.
Yeah, beautiful.
And obviously we'll send you the photos, the unreleased photos, to your email for the article.
Beautiful. Those are all right. Well, thanks very much for your time tonight. It's been a pleasure getting to know the new guys and reacquainting with you too, Dan. But keep us posted.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, mate. We'll support you all the way. So whenever you got something ready, let us know and we'll chuck something up.
That'd be great. Cheers, Kris.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Kris.
Speaking of kids, I'm going back to mine now because they've been sitting in the corner harassing the fuck out of me.
Yeah, they were very quiet.
Very quiet.
They know when Dad's got these on, they shut the fuck up. All
All right, bro.
Talk soon.
Yeah, I'll catch you at the show.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Bye.
Come and say hi
See you,
next
Dan.
time.
Cheers, man.